Warning. The Dub Talk podcast may contain language and content that may not be suitable for younger audiences. Listener discretion is advised. There will also be spoilers for various anime throughout the course of this episode. Please proceed with caution in case we discuss a series you've yet to finish. Finally, the opinions expressed are those of the individual participants and do not reflect the Dub Talk podcast as a whole. Enjoy the show. Every time we think we're out, you motherfuckers pull us back in. It's another fucking Fate episode, and Team Grimgar is back once again to tackle a world that we at Dub Talk are at this point the quote-unquote experts of. The world of Kinoko Nasu, Type Moon, Fate Stay Night. Gentlemen, by my count, this has officially become our 5th Holy Dub War podcast. I did a count. And guess what? So, because yeah, it was Fate. It started with Fate Apocrypha, Fate Zero, Fate Unlimited Blade Works, and Lord El Malloy's Case Files.
Oh, that's right. We did do Lord El Malloy.
I did really forget we covered that. I just sort of figured I bought that for myself and completely forgot we covered it.
No, I remember we covered that because you guys bought that for me so we could cover it.
Yeah, like 3 of us had coincidentally bought it. We're like, we should do an episode. Hey, wait, Andrew doesn't have this. Happy birthday. Now get in the booth.
So, it's only fair, now that we've officially hit our 5th Holy Dub Warcast, we return to the 5th Holy Grail War of Fuyuki City, to where it all began over 20 years ago. The original Fate Stay Night. And since we have already covered the Unlimited Blade Works route, and since we are not touching Deed Stay Night with a 20-foot dragon pole...
Oh, come on. We should do it. We should do it at least once.
It'd be funny.
Okay, look. We could do that, and I will say, for clarification's sake, Our master Megan is sitting this one out for personal reasons, but I understand. Because while we are not talking Unlimited Blade Works, and we are not talking the Fate route, we are finally going into Heaven's Field. The 3-film trilogy adapted once again by Studio Ufotable, released from 2017 to 2020 over the course of 3 to 4 years. So, as for who we are, I am your overseer for this fine holy battle, despite the other participants being unaware that I come armed with my own maniacal scheming caster class servant. Joining me tonight is Master Jet Zero Infinity, who goes straight true with a holy piercing spirit, armed with his Lancer class servant.
Rip.
I don't even know how to respond to that one.
And joining in the other corner is my friend, the Roots of Justice, who, much like his love, his class is like a truck berserker.
And the worms ate into his brain.
So, yeah. What the fuck? We're doing another Fate episode. it's a good thing that this is, ironically enough, outside of the Lord Elmaloy you guys bought me, the one Fate series I actually did buy on DVD, because it's more justifiable to buy it kind of piecemeal, since they're movies. But still, all of these were like $120.
I really need to buck down and just, like, get a copy of Fate Zero.
I still need Unlimited Blade Works, and now I gotta get Heaven's Feel.
So, at this point, guys, we are in. We are in, and it's good. It's a good thing that we know we are into Fate at this point, because this is a hard entry to start your Fate journey with. So, it's a good thing that we, as the Fate experts at this point, were specifically requested to do this for a patron choice episode by our patron by the name of Shoulder. Thank you very much for requesting this one. You have finally earned the right for us to do an episode of all of these Fate Stay Night films. So here's my question. Do I give a plot synopsis, or do I basically just say, have you seen a episode of Fate Stay Night? Or a couple of episodes of Fate Stay Night? Or a couple of episodes of Unlimited Blade Works?
Yeah, because like, this one is really just kind of going to be something you saw Unlimited Blade Works.
I was going to say, like, I'm literally, like, reading the back of my Blu-ray DVD, and it's like, it's a little long-winded, because it's Fate. Fate's a little long-winded. The boy wished to protect the girl. This was his thought. 10 years after the Holy Grail War, a battle waged by masters and servants over the wish-granting container. The Holy Grail, another war breaks out in Fuyuki City. Shiro Emiya, the adopted son of Kiritsugu Emiya, a participant from the previous Holy Grail War, resolves to fight, carrying out Kiritsugu's dying wish. There's a young girl by Shiro's side who's in love with him, Sakura Matou. Every morning she goes to Shiro's house to make breakfast and dinner with him, bringing okay. It's very... This is the last of the 3 original routes of Fate Stay Night. This is the one that unlocks after the Fate route, which is Sabers, Unlimited Blade Works, which is Rin's, which is the subject of the recent anime series that we have covered long ago, starring Shiro and Rin Tohsaka, and this is the one, Heaven's Feel, which focuses on Sakura Matou. This is the dark one! This is the dark one!
Yeah, this is the dark one. It's also the one that I've heard sworn up and down to me is the best one. I will have very strong opinions about that.
I'm going to say this has been interesting to kind of digest and sit on. I'm going to say we're going to have a lot of fun tonight. We're going to have some interesting discussions. I will also give a heads up for the sake of tonight's episode that this one is going to have content warnings before we even get into discussions of the cast, the crew, and even like the clear-cut story. This is an episode where we will be talking pretty explicitly about abuse, sexual assault, rape, violence, and very uncomfortable subject matters and materials. If that is a particularly touchy or uncomfortable subject matter, I will say we will understand. I will also say, if you are clicking on an episode of Dub Talk that says Fate Stays Night, Heaven's Feel, I'm assuming you're probably already aware what you're in for when we start this conversation. So, welcome to hell with us, gentlemen. Gentlemen, ladies, all 9 body pals, everybody, welcome to the 5th Holy Dub War. And yes, thank you once again to Shoulder for requesting this from Patreon. Alright, how do you want to so, shall we start with the cast and crew of this one?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okie doke, okie doke. So, this dub is... So we are covering the dubs for all 3 films. So this is Heaven's Feel, Presage Flower, Heaven's Feel, Lost Butterfly, and Heaven's Feel, Spring Song. The ADR director for this is Tony Oliver. The scriptwriter for Presage Flower Movie 1 is Jalen K. Cassell. And the writer for movies 2 and 3, both Lost Butterfly and Spring Song, is Kyle McCarley. Tony Oliver has directed such dubs as Gurren Lagann, A Lull in the Sea, Undead Unlock, and... ironically, with the exception of Lord El Malloy, he has directed pretty much every single Fate anime dub that has come out from Fate Zero onwards.
Yeah, he's pretty much just the Fate guy.
He's the Fate guy at this point. It's kind of like the familiar territory. Jalen Cassell, they have written for dubs such as Magi, The Adventures of Sinbad, My Love Story with Yamada-kun at Level 999, the new Berserk 2016 and 2017 anime series, and the new dub for Gurren Lagann the movie, The Lights in the Sky Are Stars. Kyle McCarley has written for dubs such as The Colors Within, The Deer King, Inuo, and Sakamoto Days Seasons 1 and 2. Alright. There's a lot that could be discussed about. How would you gentlemen like to proceed with our discussion for the dub as a whole?
I'm probably going to preface this by saying I will probably have a lot more to say about the content of these movies than the dub itself, which isn't a knock against the dub, because, it's a Fate dub. Tony Oliver knows what he's doing at this point. He's got a pretty good handle on how to handle all the, all the drama and theater of Fate stuff, and, I'd say this more or less continues in that direction. Pretty much the same thing in regards to the script writing by Jalen and Kyle. I think they do a pretty good job of adapting all of Nasu's prose and doing a good job of making it all flow pretty well without sounding super stilted or anything. And on technical front, I really don't have anything bad things to say here. Really bang up job on just real bang up job there.
Yeah, I'd largely have to agree. At this point, Tony Oliver has done so much Fate. I think he could direct, a Fate series or movie in his sleep.
It's very much a natural, world that he has played in the main series. He's played the prequels, he has played in the sequels, he's played in the game, mobile stuff. He's played in the weird, abstract adaptations and fan fictions.
And I really have to give props to Jalen and Kyle for their ability to navigate the terminology word soup that is Fate lore without making it sound wooden.
I think there is definitely an art. I want to say, it's not... I understand what you guys are saying with, Tony Oliver. This is not me to say there is nothing to be said about it, because I think, legitimately, he does a really, really bang-up incredible job with the Fate dubs at this point.
Yeah.
It's just kind of hard to say new stuff in particular for Tony's involvement, because we have covered his work multiple times in regards to the Fate anime dubs. So we're familiar with what he brings to the table.
He's been there since the beginning, and, the beginning. I had to double check to make sure, but, he was Lancer in the whole thing dub. So...
Right! He was one of the... He was, there's 3 or 4 cast members from Dean's Stay Night that have stayed consistent after all these years. And Tony Oliver as Lancer was one of them. So yeah, to me, what I really want to highlight is the script for all of these movies.
Yeah.
I think the script and the language, the discussion, there's a lot of dialogue in these movies. There's a lot of lore and terminology. This one goes into a lot of backstory and lore about the origins of the Holy Grail War and how the system came to be. And, a lot of the magical stuff, because we're dealing with, family histories and traumas and all that. But also, we're dealing with very personal stories. We're dealing with characters fighting trauma. Characters coming to terms with, their... characters that are literally challenged from their ideologies and perspectives a lot more than they have been in, the previous arcs or the previous routes. It goes into some stuff. It goes into some heavy character dialogue and pretty, it's managed to be conversational, emotional, tender, and, biting in ways I genuinely was not expecting. I want to give a highlight to something. I'm not sure I want to talk about it yet, but I want to give, a highlight to a personal writing thing I, want to shout out. I want to give a shout out to a specific writing thing I have a little bit of a near and dear to my heart thing, which is the PG-13 F-bomb rule. So, y'all are familiar with the PG-13 F-bomb rule, or, I guess you could also try the BoJack Horseman one, where, swearing and cursing is not off the table, but you get one F-bomb loaded in the chamber, and you gotta make it count.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
There is a particularly devastating and, disarming use of that in what is probably one of the most, let's say, hard-hitting, uncomfortable, potentially triggering scenes in the movie. I think the use of it actually was fitting in a fucked up way for what they're going for. And I did want to shout that out as, a nice little touch of, oh, this is disgusting. I do believe this character is being vile and shitty when they are doing that to hurt and traumatize. When they drop that. And I'm like, oh! That's a very bold choice, and I think in that moment it was the correct choice. Because, fuck! 'Cause, yeah, we're gonna swear and curse a lot tonight. And by us, I mean probably me. But there is a power to the word fuck that, when used correctly, can really highlight a scene, really bring out the heavy emotions if you know what you're doing. And I think that the one they dropped at the end of Heaven's Feel Lost Butterfly was very strong, and I wanted to shout that choice in particular. But outside that, real good conversational dialogue, real good lore dialogue, action, fuck yeah, motherfuckers, and some real good emotional breakdowns that we get to hear and play out and monologued in real time too. And it's hard, and it hurts, and it is pretty impressively written, all things considered. So yeah, to Jalen, and especially to Kyle McCarley for the script of, the back half of the series, I really do think the script really elevated my opinions of a lot of both the performances and this series of dubs in general. And I think it deserved its proper flowers.
Mm-hmm.
As an aside, do you mind? I'm trying to discuss very hard discussions, critique right now, and this little kitten is over here, and she's trying to dig through the stuff, and she's like, "Hi, Dad, don't worry about me. Don't worry about the traumas. It's fine. I'm just gonna be a kitten."
The emotional support kitten.
She is an emotional support. She is an emotional support kitten in this trying time.
It's either that or she's gonna keep clawing at the door for you.
Fair enough. Anyways, I'll leave it be, but yeah. Alright, any other thoughts, Jets?
No, not really.
I think you basically nailed it on the head.
Mm-hmm. Alright. So, yeah, with that, we are not going to cover every character, since some of the characters that we are not covering tonight, we have covered in Unlimited Blade Works, or maybe even Fate Zero. If I believe correctly, I think one of the characters we're discussing in tonight's section, we are talking about for the third time.
Yep.
Would
So-
not be surprised.
So, in this next section, we are going to be discussing what I would say are, like, the central antagonists of the Heaven's Feel route in particular. Which is, Shinji Matou, Zoken Matou, the True Assassin, and our good pal, the Priest, Kirei Kotomine. So, Shinji Matou is still a piece of shit. I feel like every time he shows up, he just has a really punchable shitty face, and you want to see him get his ass beat. We will talk about that. Zoken Matou is, he is the evil... He's Bug Orochimaru. I had this revelation as we were going through these movies. Zoken Matou is Bug Orochimaru. If Orochimaru is snakes, Zoken is bugs.
I mean, I was trying to think of some politician I could compare him to, but I got nothing. Oh my god, I can't believe I missed it. He specializes in worms. Brain worms. RFK.
Oh! God. Oh, we are going to compare Zoken Matou to RFK Jr. Oh. Well, he does in fact use and abuse children for his own concoctions and gay. Oh my god, holy shit. Holy shit. Thankfully, Zoken Matou does not sound like he is crying.
It's a small world.
You stop that! You stop that!
Small world.
What the fuck are you doing? Get out of here. Okay. Wow, I might just fucking blanked. Oh my god. Alright, good on you! I'm not even disappointed, Jet. I'm just kind of impressed. Alright. Yes, Zoken Matou. He is the several hundreds, maybe 1,000-year-old head of the Matou family. I think he's actually like What was it? Makari? Makari was like the original family name. But yeah, they've had some tough times. Nobody's making heirs. Shinji sucks. So they adopted Sakura Matou all those years ago when the Tohsakas decided to prioritize Rin. This was something that was discussed long ago in Fate Zero. The True Assassin, because while Zoken Matou is not really around as a threat in other routes, the same deal is his servant, the True Assassin. Because in Unlimited Blade Works, there was an assassin, but he was a fake assassin. I don't remember what the deal with that was.
He was a fake assassin because he was basically a servant within a servant. Caster summoned him.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's coming back to me now.
I forgot. Okay, right. The caster summoned the fake assassin, but there was a real assassin that was in the Holy Grail War that did not come up in the previous Unlimited Blade Works that is now at play, and it is the Hassan. We never get his name confirmed. I believe he is... Okay, so I think there was a servant like him in Fate Zero, if I remember correctly.
He is the exact servant that was in Fate Zero.
Right. It was the Hassan servant. I think it's just the one guy instead of, like, a couple of them. But yes, it is the same assassin that was in Fate Zero way back when. That got jobbed pretty quick by Gilgamesh, if I remember correctly. But in here, he is Zoken Matou's main servant, serving under him, doing nefarious schemes, and, like, taking out several other key players early on, so Zoken can take their bodies. And then there is Kirei Kotomine, a man I do not even think needs an introduction at this point. He is the diabolical, sociopathic priest that is overseeing this year's Holy Grail War. He's got a lot of issues. He's got a lot of toxic yaoi partners. And I now understand what the deal is with Mapo Tofu. Like, that's one of the things I knew about him, is that he really liked his tofu. I was like, what's the deal with that? And having seen that scene, I see why that stuck around. Because it's just a really weird scene where it's like, Shiro, come over here. You hungry? No? Okay. And he's just kind of monologuing while he's just sweating his balls off eating some really hot tofu. It's like, that is a weird scene. Alright, playing these characters. Shinji Matou, once again, is played by Kyle McCarley. Zoken Matou is played by Michael Donovan. The True Assassin is played by Patrick Seitz. And Kirei Kotomine is Crispin Freeman. Kyle McCarley has played characters such as Yushiro in Demon Slayer, Pariston Hill in Hunter x Hunter, Ryo Asuka in Devilman Crybaby, and Simon in Infinity Train. Fuck you, Warner Brothers. Don't just throwing that stray in there because it's kind of always a good time to say fuck Warner Brothers. Crispin Freeman has played characters such as Alucard in Hellsing Ultimate, Shizuo Heiwajima in Durarara, Itachi Uchiha in the Naruto series, and in the new Mononoke Dub Trilogy at Netflix, he is the voice of the medicine seller. The True Assassin Patrick Seitz has played characters such as Endeavor in My Hero Academia, Riz in Beastars, Ragnar the Blood Edge in Blaze Blue Altered Memory, and Dio motherfucking Brando in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And Michael Donovan is probably the most interesting one I had to look into. Because I believe he does live in LA now. He's been around for multiple decades. And used to be in Canada. Which led to me finding a lot of cursed things, like finding out, yeah, the voice of Zoken motherfucking Matou has probably been a part of somebody's childhood in a favorite cartoon of theirs. He's played a bunch of characters in Reboot. He's played a couple of characters in Mucha Lucha, including the toy El Rey. He is Dmitry Maximov in the American Darkstalkers cartoon. He is Guile in the American the Street Fighter cartoon. I say American, but it's like Canadian technically. He was Ryoga Hibitiki in the original Ranma 1/2 dub, and in the Ocean dub of Dragon Ball, he was Master Roshi. Master fucking Roshi.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah! Oh, geez, indeed. Seriously, like, if I had the time, and we did have a lot to, get into tonight, I'd just say look up Michael Donovan's resume, and it's basically just gonna turn into me losing my fucking mind like the Black Lagoon episode. Which is basically me just looking into Tabitha St. Germain, and realizing she's been in everything I've ever watched. Alright. I kind of want to start with Kinoko Nasu, actually. If you don't mind. Both because he's recurring, but I actually feel like he gets some real juice to him, surprisingly, at the end of this.
Yeah, he does. Probably the most positives I have to say. Because, yeah, I mean, I feel it's probably going to come up throughout our entire conversation tonight, so I will say this now, because I had a bit of an epiphany earlier today that kind of dawned on me after watching these movies. And, and it might sound like, it might sound slightly mean, but I do say this with, like, but I do want to say, I am also saying this with, like, the utmost degree of respect. I feel like looking on Fate as a whole, I feel like Kinoko Nasu is the George Lucas of visual novels.
Alright! You have now picked up the flaming hot potato. What the fuck are you gonna do with the flaming hot potato now that you are holding it?
Okay, and what I mean by that is, I think it's a really good idea. I think he's a really good idea guy. There's a really interesting concept throughout Fate as a whole, like basically the entire premise. And there's a lot of interesting ideas here, a lot of like interesting topics that get explored here. And I think they're handled like the execution on them is kind of mixed. But I think they're handled like okay enough. But having said that, like George Lucas, I don't think he's quite as strong as a writer, and I think a lot of what makes his franchise work interesting is what like other writers have kind of picked up on after it. And so yeah, George Lucas of visual novels.
Okay, I guess I do kind of do want to explore that just because it's like, I do think that there is probably more to get through. Like, it's a kind of give and take, because on the one hand, I want to give some benefit of the doubt, because you are also technically looking through Nasu as a writer, not through the visual novel medium. You are looking at the stories through the adaptations of others in anime form.
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah, and I do admit, like, having not played the original visual novel, my perspective is skewed. But having said that, I have seen a lot of Fate novels, including a lot of Nasu-verse stuff. So at the very least, I do feel like I have a pretty solid idea of what his writing style is at this point, so I do feel...
Okay. Okay, that's fair. I mostly just wanted to give some... I guess I just wanted to do a devil's advocate there for a second, as we are discussing this mostly through the lens of the anime adaptations from the visual novels. I almost said light novels.
Okay, like I said before, like, this might sound cynical, but I am also a person this. But I do also mean that with, like, the utmost of respect, because, like I said, I mean, I like Fate stuff. If I didn't like Fate stuff, I wouldn't be here. Like, there's definitely a lot of conceptually interesting stuff here. I just don't think all of it is executed the best.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like I said, we make fun of a lot of stuff with Fate, but we also enjoy a lot of stuff in Fate too. If we didn't, we wouldn't be on our 5th one of these. So yeah. That being said, I kind of was surprised at legitimately how much they add on to Kinoko Nasu in this one, because he gets a lot of meat in Fate Zero. In Unlimited Blade Works, it's mostly the big reveal that he is Lancer's master. He does a little scheming on the side, and then he kind of gets murked and dies.
Gilgamesh was clearly more the villain of Unlimited Blade Works than he was.
Oh yeah, like, we are not talking about Gilgamesh tonight, because Gilgamesh... Okay.
Gilgamesh literally has, like, maybe 2 lines over this entire trilogy.
Okay, here's what happens with Gilgamesh.
He gets, like, 2
Gilgamesh
lines and gets munched.
Okay, here's what happens. Gilgamesh is chilling in the back of the church, uninvolved throughout the entire movie. He sees two young, dumb, full of cum Japanese kids have straight, loving, heterosexual sex. And then he shows up and is like, oh no, we can't have none of that now, can we? And then he tries to kill Sakura. And then he gets munched.
Got bit from the knees up.
Like, legit, I was laughing because literally, like, straight sex happens, and then Gilgamesh is like, well, we can't be having none of that now, can we? So, yes, he literally tries doing that, and then he gets munched in, like... Okay, real talk. Whatever decisions could be made, or whatever was lost in translation, I'm actually pretty fucking impressed with, like, the visual and, like, anime directorial adaptations of the visual medium, because there's some genuinely good fucking horror direction in this. In that scene especially, I was like, oh my god. Genuinely good creepy direction and stuff. I was pretty impressed with that. And... fuck it, I can't even lie. It was hype! Some of these fights were really fucking hype, okay? I know I kind of poo-poo on, like, the state of ufotable and how Demon Slayers turned out lately, but, like...
Yeah, okay, yeah, their fights are pretty good here. It also helps that there is significantly less post-processing than other shows we can mention.
But, like, legit, there's some that were incredible. Like, some of these were legitimately cool. Like, Saber Alter versus Berserker. Fucking Medusa versus Saber Alter, too. Okay, sorry. I guess it's a spoiler that she's Medusa, but you see her freeze somebody in place once, it's pretty obvious. Yeah! There's some real incredible fights here, and I'm pretty impressed with that. I guess now would be a good time to mention that this movie ends with a fucking 1v1 of Shiro and Kire Kotomine.
That's it. Yeah, that boxing match was like the best part of this trilogy.
Just like, it was a... With no... Okay, I was gonna say with no jokes. It's a little bit. Okay, it's basically a boxing match about pro-life and pro-choice.
Yeah, basically.
Which, I mean, sounds a little fucked up, but if we want to go into a little bit of the subtext regarding the Sakura Matou character route, we don't have time for that, but we could. But yes, it's literally like, it's done nothing wrong. Yes, but it could do something wrong, and I want to see, and it'll be awesome if it does. No, fucking Crispin Freeman's incredible. He gets some real good, like, holier-than-thou, like, preaching and proctoring, while also, like, getting to kick some real ass with that final movie. As an aside, it's like he's kind of like a reluctant ally for a bit too, even though he is like the final ideological challenge for Shiro to overcome at the end there.
Yeah, I thought Kiri's role in these movies was interesting. Like, definitely the most Crispin Freeman has had to do with the character since Fate Zero, and you can tell he's really having a fun time here. Definitely, like you were saying, a little weirded out by him kind of being something of a reluctant ally for the first two movies. Just very good. Like not even begrudgingly necessarily, just sort of like, just sort of like, yeah, I'm here, I'll throw you a bone occasionally.
To be fair, we're not talking about Lancer tonight, because Lancer gets taken out in the first movie and gets absorbed into the darkness. We'll talk about that in a bit. So after Lancer's out of the game, he's like, okay, I'm technically out now. So hey Shiro, you want to join me for lunch? And yeah.
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, you know, I mean, he's like, I did try to kill your dad, but we could be cool.
Like, I hated your dad. Like, I really hated your dad. But we also weren't that different. I also think he sucks shit. But also, like, I'm kind of curious how you'll turn out. Maybe you'll suck shit less.
And then at the end, he turns full on college debate, bro.
He...
Down to the bare knuckle.
Oh my god!
You get it.
Does he go full... He goes full Charlie Kirk because he's fighting high schoolers. If you are here, you know what the fuck this podcast is about. We just called Zoken Matou RFK Jr. We are not above taking those low blows at this point. We are far too liberal for that. Anyways, yeah, no, Crispin Freeman does some pretty incredible work throughout this one. And, like, I kind of... Oh, also, he gets to fucking yeet Shiro through a window.
Oh, that was funny.
Oh, yeah.
I was laughing. I was like, why did he just come in like that? Oh, Kirei threw him because he's an asshole. That makes sense. But fucking hell, like, legitimately impressed with, like, the amount of, like, complexity Crispin gets to play with for Kirei for this route in particular, especially during, like, the last movie. And getting to learn that, oh yeah, I forgot he was married to a woman.
Yeah, I do remember that, like, being vaguely brought up in his backstory in Fate Zero for, like, 10 seconds.
It was brought up very briefly during the circle jerk scene. You know the one.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the part about him having a kid was new. Like, I don't remember if we heard that one, but I do remember
that is new. That does apparently come up in the sequel. We'll see if that gets adapted down the road later. Good luck. But yeah, I really was impressed with, like, the amount. I feel like I got Kirei Kotomine's fucking weird deal a little more. And I think I got to appreciate him a little more as a complex, weird character in that whole final movie. I actually think I really grew to appreciate Kirei a lot more in Heaven's Feel.
Yeah.
Now, the complete fucking... Now shall we go to the complete fucking opposite of, I hated you before, now I hate you even more. Hi, Shinji.
Yeah, really not... Yeah, okay, no, I can't say not even much to say here about Shinji sucks, because, like... Because there is an interesting transition here. Because at first, Shinji sucks for all of the reasons he usually sucks, which is that he's just, like... which is kind of like he's a total loser who's just... who's just really fucking annoying, while also... That really fucking annoying, really wants to be seen as, like, the biggest, best person in the room. So that's just so badly. But then the second you give him anything, he just stumbles, and it's so funny. Like I love the bit where he just, like, rolls up to Shiro and Ryder, and he's like, oh yeah, I've been waiting for this. Immediately gets spotted in, like, 10 seconds.
Oh, that is, like, one of the funniest scenes, is like, oh yeah, he's gonna have this real fight, and he gets bodied. He gets immediately bodied, and his book burns. Like, I'm like, is this fucking Zatch Bell? Did the Burke get burned like Zatch Bell? Are you already out? Are you already out? Which, as an aside, he was not out because he was technically never even in. He was in because he's a shitty, abusive person taking advantage of somebody who actually has the access to the thing that he lacks.
Yep, which gets us into, like, the dichotomy, which is Which is, yeah, we have all the funny reasons he normally sucks, and now we have really, really horrible reasons that he sucks. Just being really abusive stepbrother in more ways than one.
Like, the first time you see him slap Sakura, my immediate first thought was, oh, you're gonna die this route.
I
was right!
I feel like the more we got that, the more kind of sour that was going, and then it was like, yeah.
And the fucked up part, as upsetting as it is, as uncomfortable as that is, as legitimately fucked up and upsetting as the fact that he abuses Sakura, uses Sakura, and quite literally assaults and violates her. Like, that's not even subtext. That is the text. It's not that surprising with Shinji.
Yeah, it's definitely not that surprising with Shinji, and yeah, it is.
Like, I can't even say I'm disappointed because I felt like that was always kind of like possible. It's just like they did not really. They did not really go into that, despite the fact that he did kind of almost assault Tohsaka that one round.
It's one of the many things from these movies I'm kind of mixed about because Shinji does feel like the sort of character who would do something like that, and I can't say the films didn't necessarily earn it, but it's just one of those. I don't know. It's just one of those things where the way the subject matter is handled just kind of makes me feel weird about the fact that it was included.
Okay. I will say... Okay. Time to tiptoe a little bit, but like to say... I think there is a lot of stuff with Sakura as a character, as somebody who has lived, dealt with abuse. I get it. I genuinely do get the inclusion in the story, and I get why they're showing that. I, at the very least, think, given some other stuff of the times, this is handled better than I expected.
Yeah. Okay. I think if I were to phrase it slightly differently, like, okay, it's like I get what Natsu is going for here, and I think that's like, yeah, and I wouldn't even necessarily say that it doesn't. I wouldn't even necessarily say that it just like totally doesn't work. It's just one of those things where like. I don't know. It's just one of those things where the subject where I don't know. It's just one of those subjects where it feels like you kind of have to like really go all in and kind of know what you're doing when you're talking about these kind of subjects. And I'm not sure if Natsu was totally equipped to handle them. I think that's where I was leading with.
Fair enough. I will say. Okay, where the fuck am I going with this? I do feel like the conversation we were having earlier, chat. I actually do feel like I do appreciate the fact that these were movies, and I do appreciate the fact that they actually do show the positives and the negatives of sexual intimacy versus sexual violence and assault in this, because there's a very stark difference between the two scenes, and I think it works showing both without being too gratuitous at either. The shit with Shinji does not feel like it is edgy or pornographic in a way that it feels like Nasu's getting his kicks. It feels like the actual lovemaking scene between Sakura and Shiro is tasteful in a way that worked for the movie. Yes, let's go with that. I also did hear some stuff that was removed from the adaptation of this route that was changed in the anime that I was told from my person I was talking about the original VN for was better for it, actually. Y'all remember that weird, like, horny dream Shiro had? That was kind of like Rin, that was kind of Sakura, that was kind of like a weird, like, psychosexual dream where he almost got stabbed.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was just a sex scene. That was apparently just a sex scene in the visual novel, and potentially applied to be a lot more dubious that they changed some stuff with that. So, yeah. Alright, I feel like I'm losing the plot already. Or maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
Let the record show we are not experts on this series. Well, okay.
Okay, I think it's more. I think it's more apt to say we are not experts on this topic.
We are not experts on this subject. I am not doing that thing where I am saying if the content or the presentation of the scenes, the content, if the stuff with Sakura as a character, with the stuff with her dealing with assault and violence is an issue for somebody, or the portrayal of it could be an issue for somebody who has survived that, dealt with that stuff. I don't know if that's good or bad. I am not an expert on that. I'm just saying, from my own personal experience of what the story is going for, what this adaptation is going for, I think that scene's upsetting, but I think it is kind of... It works for what they're trying to convey for Sakura Matou's contradictory, upsetting circumstances and descent.
Yeah, on that note, I will just like get the disclaimer that, I mean, well, you know, obviously we say every time, these are just our opinions, but in this episode especially, yeah, whatever it said here, this is just kind of like my personal take on this stuff, not really indicative of anything else.
This is true. It does sound like we are kind of on different ends of this particular film spectrum as well, I will say that. Which, this is not me saying, you're wrong, fuck you! It's like, no, I trust you to have these discussions with at this point, and I do believe you that we are handling this well.
Did you have anything you want to add, Patrick?
I mean, Kyle McCarley makes a really punchable Shinji Matou.
Oh yeah, like, I kind of got lost in the discussion there. He does chew the fucking scenery when he is being a little shit kid.
Yeah,
and Kyle is really good at being a little fucking punchable shit kid. And the sad part was, I was literally thinking about it, like, man, Shinji Matou should be, like, if Shinji Matou wasn't written in a 2000s eroge, he could probably be, like, a tsundere sports rival in a sports anime, and probably be better for it. But he is now cursed to be a fucking, violent incel misogynist
yeah, I mean, there's definitely some world in which you could pity his circumstances. I mean, he was brought up in a family where he was fairly clearly just kind of seen as an afterthought. But also he sucks, so.
He sucks, and he is quite literally a textbook abuser, rapist, and even though it's shocking, oh yeah, when he got his throat slit. So, fun fact, I was talking to JR Pictures about that. He mentioned, like, watching that in a crowd of people at, like, a convention premiere. He mentioned the convention crowd where he saw that when he got his throat slit, the audience just fucking cheered.
Yeah, you can see it.
Like, so how do I describe it? I was literally thinking, okay, you remember that episode of Smiling Friends when Mr. Frog fucking eats that guy live on TV? And then everybody just goes, yeah! That's how I imagine that went.
Oh, the Aaron Paul ad exec?
Yes, that guy.
Yeah.
That's exactly how I imagined that going. I was like, yeah, I can see that. Well, but Kyle McCarley's good at chewing the scenery, and I was like, it did strike me weird that he survived Unlimited Blade Work. So I was like, oh, yeah, you deserve to stay dead in this one. But fuck, he's a really punchable, shit-faced kid.
Didn't he get hardcore mulched in the process?
Like, I remember when we were watching Unlimited Blade Works, it was like, I think he was like in a hospital bed, and I think Sakura was like feeding him, which, now having seen Heaven's Feel, what the fuck? I wouldn't shock me if that was like an anime only, like, might as well show he's still there thing, but still bizarre choice. Like he literally gets turned into a blob.
Okay, I was gonna say, like, well, I mean, yeah, he is in the hospital with Sakura taking care of him at the end of Unlimited Blade Works. But think of it this way, he is entirely at her mercy.
I guess so, but, like, legit, this one goes really hard into Shinji being an abusive asshole, and I genuinely do also want to shout out before we move on. Remember when I was talking about the F-bomb thing?
Oh, yeah.
It's very fucked up. It's very upsetting. It is a legitimately bold choice for it's like he's literally trying to hold the last bit of power over her, where he's like, you can't harm me. I won't stand for this anymore. I have Shiro. And then he's just like trying to upset her. It's like, oh yeah, sure, tell him. I can't wait to tell him anyways about all the times we fucked. Needle drop quiet /.
Now,
Yeah.
see, when you say the PG-13 R-rated rule, that is actually a context of the F-bomb you cannot use in a PG-13 movie.
Really? Really? Do tell.
So, per MPAA guidelines, you cannot say the word fuck in a sexual context and get a PG-13 rating. You know, you could do the Beetlejuice nice fucking model and, like, the obscene gesture that follows. You can't actually say the word fuck in that context.
Okay. So, yeah. I do not believe these were R-rated, no. But, yes, I do believe the choice to use fuck for that context in that moment was, like, legitimately, like, disarming in a way. I kind of, like lost my breath for a second before...
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Before killing him. I think it was a bold, risky choice that I think was the correct one in that moment.
Okay, now that you said all that, I need to check something.
Okay. We still good?
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, no, yeah, I can keep going.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. But, yeah.
Yeah, while Jet's looking that up, I want to put the spotlight on Michael Donovan and Patrick Seitz.
Okay, yes, because this is... So, we have covered Fate Zero, we've covered Fate Unlimited Blade Works. These are the two characters we have not actually gotten to talk about on the previous Dub Talks.
I think we shouted out Patrick Seitz in the Fate Zero episode, but that was about as far as we could get.
He basically was just kind of there to, like, ruin a dinner party, and then Gilgamesh was like, fuck you, I ain't having none of that. No, not Gilgamesh! It was... Oh my god. It was Ryder, it was Iskandar. It was Iskandar.
Yeah.
Because it was the meeting of the kings between Saber, Archer, and Ryder. That's what it was in Fate Zero.
Now, I should clarify, with Assassin, he is the same assassin that was in all 5 of the proper Holy Grail Wars. Hassani Sabah, the original assassin.
Really? I didn't realize it was the same servant in all the wars.
So, a lot of interesting context that I had to look up with Hassani Sabah. in terms
Yeah,
of...
we're going back to doing Fate lore research. Hell yeah. Thank you, buddy.
So, Third Holy Grail War was kind of one thing. You get 2 incarnations of Hassan in the sort of anime Fate. What the anime covers.
Okay.
In Zero, you've got Hassan of the 100 Faces, which is basically you summon like 100 assassins.
You kind of have like a whole cavalier.
Because they all bear the name Hassan, because you're not supposed to know who Hassan actually is. And then in Heaven's Feel, you get the true Hassan with the cursed arm that can reach into your chest and pull out your heart.
Which, as an aside, yeah, that first movie, legitimately, it feels like the assassin kind of comes out like fucking unhinged before kind of regaining a little bit of humanity as he's absorbing hearts. Yeah, there's some fucking, like, crazy noises, like, Patrick Seitz is making when he's doing the assault on, like, the shrine that Castor's in.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that was my favorite part of, like, that performance, is just how fucking maniacally unhinged and, like, Hannibal Lecter serial killer he sounds, before kind of sounding a little more like a dignified, slightly normal, I am a killer serving my master man.
It's nice.
It's a nice little touch, I agree.
I like Patrick Seitz doing things. I'm glad he's doing things again.
He's good at doing things. He'll eat your heart out.
Yeah, Patrick Seitz is real good as true assassin. I mean, he doesn't have, like... I mean, he doesn't have, like, a ton of presence here, but I think he does do pretty good with the amount of screen time he gets. And I like the performance. And also, I did find the thing I was looking for, so I wanted to take a look and see, like, what the age ratings for these movies were. So at least as far as the U.S. goes, they are rated DVMA, which, not super shocking given the content.
Yeah,
that's not shocking.
Okay, would you like to know what the rating in Japan was?
I'm going to guess it is the equivalent of a teen rating.
Yeah, G rated.
What the fuck is it? What? What? Shut up, what?
I'm looking at the IMDb page right now.
What what does a G rating even mean in this context?
Okay, I suppose to be fair, I do think like a G rating does mean like something slightly different over there than it does here, and I think.
I gotta assume it means something different.
I get the feeling there's some cultural context that we're missing. Like, hey,
I mean, I think the use of the G rating is like much broader than ours, but like that's also funny to think about.
Jeez.
That, like, I was ready for it to be, like, a teen rating, where I was like, okay, it's a little explicit, but compared to some other explicit Japanese content, I could see an argument for this being a 13 and up. Fuck you, G. Fuck it. It's like somebody just saw the fucking Alice in Wonderland dream and didn't get to the needle drop of her eating people.
Yeah.
Alright. So yeah, no, I did really like Patrick Seitz as the maniacal, crazy, thorn in the side assassin that gets his fucking legs blown off?
Yep.
That's a pretty rough way to go. Christ. So as an aside, I wasn't sure if he had lore that got explored into, but I was like, I wanted to know what his deal was. I was like, okay, I guess we're not knowing what your deal is. Or I need to look into other further Fate things to know what Hassan's deal is. I refuse to watch.
I think they assume you got everything you needed from Fate Zero.
I assume, like, there is some stuff. I will also say, for the sake of this adaptation, they basically... You should not go into this one as your first Fate thing at all.
No,
Like, at all.
They rushed the storyline to hell and back.
Like, this is basically a 12 to 13 episode anime adaptation. You get the prequel stuff, and basically it is like... You go from Shiro getting stabbed by Lancer to the end of the first Saber Berserker fight.
Yeah, they basically skip the entire prologue.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Like, it works for us because at this point, we know what that chunk is. But it's like, they are also expecting you, if you're watching Fate, Heaven's Feel, you also know what this chunk is. And, like, pretty much every movie immediately goes into where the last one ended off. So, like, doing this movie after another, it's kind of hard to judge each movie individually because everyone immediately goes into where the last one ended.
Yeah, I mean, I will say that at least for, like, me personally, the first movie just, like, I really didn't like it. It really just kind of felt like we were getting a Clip Notes version of the story. Second one, a little stronger. Third one, definitely the best one.
I think it does get better and more confident with what it's trying to do with each movie. And I do think it is still impressive at what it does, but I would agree that I do think covering these together is the right choice, because as much as I like going through these, no single movie I think stands on its own at all. Which kind of sounds like a negative, but, you know.
Yeah,
Anyways.
that's what it is. It's Fate.
It's Fate. I think they all work together in tandem.
Yeah.
Michael fucking Donovan, though. What a shitty old man. He gets, like, exactly 2 minutes where he kind of makes you think he's okay. Where he's like, oh, hey, thanks for looking after my granddaughter. That's nice of you. How's the Einsberg girl? Is she doing okay? Immediately goes into the shadow. I'll be immortal!
Hey, if you saw any of his screen time in Fate Zero, you probably got an idea of what kind of a piece of work this guy is. But even then, yeah.
Like, he basically looks like an infected ball sack. Like, he does not look like a man that seems like he's going to have good vibes about him.
I mean, the man has cheated death so many times.
He is literally a rotting corpse being puppeted by a bunch of, like, gross bugs. Which, as an aside, I learned, okay, I guess he can puppet a dead servant and use their powers with his bugs. Because, like, they kill Castor early on, and they're just using Castor's magic because they fill her with fuck-ass bugs. I was like, wow, that's OP as shit. Like, I know that's disgusting and inhumane and ridiculous, but, like, wow, Bug Corpse powers is very OP.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even the most broken thing in Heaven's Feel. We'll get to that in the next segment. But, yeah, Michael Donovan as, like, this man who's in a lot of people's childhoods playing this really shitty, conniving, scheming old man, just oozing with slime, malice, inhumanity, and vileness. And I kind of like how pathetic he goes out. There's something uniquely fitting by how his demise is quite literally just that of a bug getting squashed.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind of funny considering that, like, throughout the final movie, there are, like, 3 times, he gets, like, 2 fake-out deaths and then 1 final one.
He gets fucking exorcised by Kirei Kotomine. And if Kirei fucking Kotomine is giving you an exorcism, you gotta be pretty fucking evil, dude. And then, yeah, he's literally just got his little bug self that he hid in Sakura's body, which I'm not going into the... As an aside, I don't want to go into the Crestworms.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into the Crestworms.
Yeah.
I had a conversation about that with somebody where I was like, okay, what is the deal with them? And he was like, okay, look, there is lore. That doesn't really matter. It's more about what they represent with the character, and that's more interesting to talk about than, like, the lore or, like, grossness implications of it. So I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, he gets squashed like a fucking bug.
What I love about his death is, like, his final death. When he falls into the lava. You
mean when he gets golemed?
You don't even get the little wisp of flame when he falls in. Like, it is so unceremonious, it's great.
Like, he gets fucking golemed with zero fanfare. It's kind of beautiful in a cathartic way. Like, you are less than shit at this point, my guy. You're a cruel, rotting fuck, and you deserve what's coming to you. And what's even cursed is that okay. They do not have cast confirmation for this. This is all alleged. This is all vibes-based. I wasn't able to confirm any of this. I'm like 99% sure that young, hot Zokin is fucking Alejandro Saab, and that's even more cursed. Okay, young and hot... Okay, young and hot is really... I'm taking a lot of liberties there. He kind of looks like... he's a wrinkly old 30-year-old guy who is just addicted to Ambien and Adderall. But yeah. So, any other thoughts on our rogues gallery of antagonists for this particular route?
They good.
No, they're not good. They're the opposite. Okay, they're good at being bad. They're good at being very bad.
Yep, they work for their intended purpose, more or less.
Mm-hmm. Alright. So I think it's time to move on to our allies and key servants for this particular arc. So, we are prioritizing Rin Tohsaka, Iliasfeel von Einsburn, Saber, and Ryder. Rin Tohsaka needs no introduction at this point. She is the woman, the myth, the legend herself. Iliasfeel is the daughter of Irisfeel and Kiritsugu Emiya, and is the master of Berserker. She plays a much more pivotal role in Heavensfeel in particular, because in talking with somebody, this is not just the Sakura route, it is the Sakura and it is also Ilya's route as much as it is Sakura's. But it is not a romantic arc, I will say that. That feels like it is worth clarifying. It is not a romantic arc or route in that sense.
Okay, I mean, I haven't played the original visual novels, so, like, don't quote me on this, but, like, I think, at least from what I've been told secondhand, if you were to try to romance Ilya, you would get a bad ending.
I see.
I need to ask about that. I would not be surprised. But yeah. But yes, so it is Heavensfield is as much Sakura's arc as it is Ilya's, I will say that is a little bit of the weakness of the 3-film adaptation, is I feel like Ilya probably gets a little bit of the shorter end of the stick to prioritize more of the stuff with Sakura. That's the vibe I'm getting. She still gets some good stuff, but I can tell it's less stuff than Sakura's. But speaking of Sakura, Ryder, thought to be Shinji's servant, is actually Sakura's, because apparently the crest, like the crest, sorry, I'm blanking on the terminology. The command spells, the command seals.
Yep.
That's like a magic that is like specifically like mastered and known from the Matou clan. So it's like they have some little trickery, like it's basically like a smoke and mirrors switch where it's like she basically uses her command seals to let Shinji have temporary control of Ryder as a master. And it's very clear she does not give a shit about Shinji, but cares very deeply a lot about Sakura because I think she summoned her without a catalyst. So it's like it's a particularly close bond for that, which I did find out. There's more about that in Hollow Ataraxia. And apparently, even in the original Fate Stay Night, a lot of Ryder's backstory is relatively, like, skipped on even there. I was like, did the anime skip that? It's like, no, the original source material skipped a lot of that too. I was like, okay. I guess they're just like, okay, you see her freeze people in place, you're like, that's Medusa. That's pretty straightforward Medusa. And then there's Saber, who does need no introduction. She is King Artoria. Sorry. I had something in my throat. I mean, oh. Nope. I don't care, Nasu. I don't care. You localized the Fate Stay Night novel after 20 years here. You're not gonna make me call her Altria. I don't care. Fuck you. It's Artoria.
Wait,
anyways,
is that what they changed it to?
Wait, you didn't know that?
Nope.
Oh, so Jet, that's been a big controversy actually, because people have liked Artoria better, but Nasu is strongly, violently persistent on her being called Altria. So the localization of Fate Stay Night that we got on like Switch and Steam, they call her Altria.
Man, that's so weird.
So that's been the case for Fate Grand Order. I even think in the recent dubs of Fate Babylonia anime, they had to call her Altria. So yeah, that's been a big controversy because everybody in the English-speaking fandom is like, wow, Altria's so stupid, but Nasu is like, no, it's Altria. Do it. I say so. And they're like, fine.
So good old Haru card all over again.
Yes. Anyways, so we do get a bit of Saber, but the key with Saber in this arc is that we finally get to see something I've seen so much in a lot of art and a lot of porn, but it was like I've never actually seen the context. So after all this time, I finally understand what an altar servant is. It is a servant that has been absorbed and corrupted by the essence of the Grail. So then it becomes like an altered, dark, corrupted version of their former self. I believe most of them are basically the equivalent of, like, zombie shadow puppets, because by the time they're absorbed, Assassin basically rips their hearts out, and then the corpse kind of becomes absorbed by the Grail shadow thing. Artoria is absorbed with her, like, heart intact, so she is still kind of in there, but she is just corrupted into her deepest, darkest, like, version of herself. So there's, like, a contrast. There's a fucked up part where it's, like, Shiro's heroic spirit is basically turned into, like, the darkest, most corrupted form of himself. Anyways, playing these characters. Rin is played by Mela Lee. Ilya is played by Stephanie Sheh. Saber is played by Kari Walgrim. And Ryder is played by Melissa Fawn. Mela Lee has played characters such as Rachel Alucard in Blaze Blue Alter Memory, Erika Karasawa in Durarara, Dari in Gurren Lagann, and Zeta in the Grand Blue Fantasy series. Stephanie Sheh has played characters such as Nabiki Tendo in the new Ranma 1/2 show, Ereka in Eureka 7, Nui Harime in Kill la Kill, and Orihime Inoue in Bleach. Kari Walgrim has played Celty Sturluson in Durarara, Seiko Ayase in Dandadan, Blue Rose in Tiger and Bunny, and Rip Van Winkle in Hellsing Ultimate. And Melissa Fawn is Eri Ninamori in Fooly Cooly, Neptune in Hyperdimension Neptunia, Ray Beams in Eureka 7, and Edward in Cowboy Bebop. Patrick, would you like to start us off?
Sure. Yeah, Kari Walgrim doesn't really get a lot to do with Saber. I do like the stuff that she did for Saber Alter. Kind of a little grittier.
Grittier, darker, edgier, nothing personnel kid. Like, she's literally Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah. And, like, Melissa Fawn also really doesn't get much to do as writer. Little more than, like, Unlimited Blade Works or...
Oh, it is so much more than Unlimited Blade Works. Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, yeah, she actually does get, like...
She is a character. Like, she is genuinely a character in Heaven's Field. In Unlimited Blade Works, she gets bodied and disappeared.
I mean, yes.
Which now that we know how that works, oh, Shinji was controlling her at the time. That's why she got shit kicked immediately.
I mean, yeah, she does get a lot of screen time, but really, like, not really much to do until the raid on the Einsburn Castle.
Alright. I do think her reintroduction where she kicks the shit out of Assassin at the end of the first movie was pretty sick, though.
Oh, that was pretty badass, yeah. Like, actually getting to showcase who Ryder is, what she's capable of. We said she's Medusa, right?
Yep.
Yes, it's very clearly Medusa. They don't go a lot into it. It's very clearly Medusa.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, for as mixed as I am on some stuff, I don't really have anything bad to say about Ryder. Like, she rules.
Yeah.
She's cool! Like, it's basically just, like, a cool, like, vampiric dominatrix Medusa. And, like, you know what I realized, gents? You know what's finally gonna make me watch today's menu for Emiya Family?
Is it Ryder?
It's Ryder, isn't it?
It's making me realize we get to see more of Ryder in that fucking tight turtleneck sweater.
I gotta say, Ryder with glasses, could get it.
I was like, look, the hot dominatrix mommy with, like, sharp spikes, yes, that's cool. Yes, that's hot. Yes, holy shit, that fucking fight scene with her and Saber, though, my god. But, like, man, something about that turtleneck sweater on her looks so fucking good! she can get it. And also, we actually get to hear Melissa Fawn get to be a little more cute, a little more quiet, but also a little bit more of a vicious, cool assassin type character.
I gotta say, I've gotten pretty used to, like, Melissa Fawn just playing, like, angsty teenagers, so it definitely is a little surreal hearing her play an adult for once, but...
An adult, and what's basically kind of like a sultry, quiet one, too.
Yeah. But yeah, I really do like her performance as Ryder. Like, just very cool and collected, like, usually the most level-headed person in the room, and just trying her best to look out for Sakura, and very clearly trying to do what's best for her, and I thought they have a pretty... I thought they had a pretty interesting relationship, but I also like the way she bounced off of Shiro in a lot of their brief interactions. I thought they were gonna... I like the whole, like, little rapport they kind of built up over the last movie. I thought that was pretty nice.
I kind of love their tag team at the end there. Because it's like, okay, I need to trust you. You need to trust me. I care about Sakura. I think you want what's best for Sakura. After everything has been said and done, I'm not here by Sakura's side because Sakura is, like, shutting herself down. You are the only person I think can actually get her out of this. Let's work together. I also kind of love how her plan is like, Shiro, listen to me. I need you to not do the Shiro Emiya thing. What? I need you to not run in there and protect a woman. I need you to let me kick her ass. Okay? Okay. Like, that must have been really hard on him. He genuinely, like, is, like, literally, like, taking the arm thing off, and he's like, oh, shit. God. Jet, you know what it is? Like, Ryder telling Shiro, don't run in and help, is kind of like Double D going to Ed and like, Ed, do not eat that dirt. Pshaw! You just see him getting sweaty, looking with his eyes bulging out of his head.
The Abbott Yab, Bro backup job for Melissa Fawn. Like, definitely no complaints about Ryder.
And I love the thing near toward the final arc where they're kind of doing the last bit of battle planning, and she's just like, yeah, hey, her last command seal she used on me was to protect you at all costs. But if you go after her, fuck it, I'm out.
I do kind of like the fact that, like, her relationship with Sakura is a lot more equal than most of her other past relationships where she feels like she is inferior or less than. It kind of feels like Ryder is one of the few where she genuinely feels like there is an equal camaraderie there, and I think you could tell Ryder, like, wants to care and nurture for her while also being there for her. Like, because she's not just by her side when she's at her lowest. She's like, she's with Shiro and she's with Rin at her lowest because she knows they're the ones that actually can be there for her and help her through this.
Mm-hmm.
It's not doing what she thinks is best for her. It's about putting all that aside and actually just putting pride out of the way and be like, I cannot do what's best for her right now. I need your help. So I think that's pretty interesting dynamic. And yes, I will probably watch the Emiya family show just because I need more of Ryder in that fucking sweater. Anyways.
Rin!
Oh, okay. I was gonna say Rin.
We should probably be saving Rin toward the end.
I mean, fair. Okay, fair.
I do think Ilya has more to do in these movies than Rin does, but
I do think it's a very interesting change to actually get to see a lot more of Ilya, but I've also had a discussion about this. I think the theme, as much as it is, like, the romance of Shiro and Sakura, I think Heaven's Field is also a paralleling of estranged siblings reconnecting a familial bond that was fucked up because of magecraft fuckery.
Yeah.
Because basically that's what it is. It's Ilya's feel. Ilya and Shiro are trying to, like, bond and reconnect from their weird, estranged situation through their connection of having Kiritsugu in their lives. And Rin and Sakura is trying to reconnect after basically being separated by the family adoption politics. And it's like, do I acknowledge you as my sister? Do I pretend we're strangers? How do we go on about this? And I feel they actually do a really nice job with, like, kind of establishing that. I feel like the biggest problem is Ilya. I feel like I could tell there's more, but I still really liked what we got of Ilya.
I liked Ilya throughout these movies. I thought they did. I liked her presence here. I thought she did a pretty good job bouncing up from Zero. I liked that they played into the sibling angle a lot more than the other two routes, which is appreciated because, like, and I gotta know, like, that dynamic was kind of like the most interesting. The part of their relationship I thought was the most interesting. So,
I think
see more of that.
I do genuinely like that they actually do play into, like, their weird relationship dynamic. And by the end, I genuinely am actually getting touched by, like, them, like, acknowledging each other as siblings in a way that, like, I'm, like, getting emotional. I'm like, oh, it's like...
Yes, I definitely did feel a little emotional during that whole... during that whole, like, oh, the big brother is supposed to, like, look after the little sister thing. I thought that whole thing was cute. And
I thought that was really touching, and it made me realize, oh, this is how you get Fate Khalid, because I do like the AU of the happy ending where they actually do get to live together and be siblings.
Oh, yes.
And Kiritsugu and Irisfield get to live and all that. I do like the fact there's another world where they live and have a happy sibling relationship. Where is that fucking monkey's paw coming from? Oh no!
Speaking of things I don't like about these movies, I'm gonna be honest, I really don't think there is any need to kill off Ilya. Again, it's one of those things where, like, I kind of get what they were trying to go for as far as, like, reinforcing Zero, like, finally decided to live for himself and all that. And I guess Natsu felt like there needed to be, like, some sort of trade there, but, like, I think there was really any actual need to go off Ilya. He could have stuck around.
As an aside, I do kind of like the fact, I actually do really like that exchange where it's like, the end of Heaven's Feel, and hell, Heaven's Feel in general is kind of like challenging Shiro in a way of basically him having to put aside selflessness for once and be a little selfish.
I do think it is an interesting way to cap off his character arc after what we got in Limited Blade Works. I don't think it's, like, a dramatic improvement from that, but it is an interesting direction to go in there.
I did look into that because I had to do a little research about, wait, what the fuck happened at the end there? And it's like, okay, so remember how I mentioned it was Sakura's route as much as it was Ilya's and all that? There are affection points for both Sakura and both Ilya for that route, and, like, the true end can only be hit if you max out Ilya there as well. And that's how you get the ending where she sacrifices herself so Shiro's soul can live. Because otherwise, Shiro just straight up fucking dies.
Okay, yeah, that does track based on what we saw.
Also,
So, yeah.
I do have to say, now again, like with Zoken Matou, this isn't 100% confirmed through the credits. But if my ears do not deceive, props on, casting director and whatnot for putting in Bridget Hoffman as the Einsbear.
Oh yeah, that was definitely Bridget Hoffman. I'm pretty confident in that. I'm also like 60% sure that was Kaylee McKee as the OG Tohsaka, but I'm not as confident there. But yeah, that was definitely Bridget Hoffman again as the OG Einsberg girl, so that continues the whole trend. Oh, also as an aside, it still fucking broke me when I saw, like, Ilya going into the void and running to see her mother again. I was like, fuck you!
Yeah.
Damn it, it still hits! Fuck! Oh, and also, I guess, because we're not going to mention Berserker, because he only gets one line, can we talk about how fucking awesome that scene with Shiro and Berserker fighting was? And when they bring out the fucking Emiya theme again? I'm like, oh! Oh, that's, oh.
That's the good shit.
I feel like every time I'm, like, questioning if I'm still into Fate, I'm like, fuck! I'm still in. You still got me by the balls. Oh,
basically the same reason why I'm still in for Demon Slayer. Yuki Kajiura.
Oh, God, man. Real talk. I'm sad that my sex scenes will never be composed by Yuki Kajiura. I'm, like, looking at, like, the tender romance and tension and, like, romantic lovemaking vibes going on with the Yuki Kajiura score. I'm like, damn. That would get anyone going, I get it. I think I lost the plot a little there, I'm sorry.
Maybe.
Maybe a little bit. Stephanie Shea. She gets some real good, meat with Ilya. I do like the tender, like, sibling relationship, which, as an aside, loved the final exchange where she's asking if Shiro does want to live, and she's like, I have a secret to tell you. I'm not actually your little sister. I'm your older sister, and guess what? It's a big sister's job to look after and protect her little brother. I was like, oh, fuck! Damn it! Ugh! Fuck. Got me good. That actually got me pretty good. I was like, damn it.
Damn it, homunculus girl, you got me there.
The fucking Fate feelings are still there and still strong, which, I guess, speaking of Fate feelings, Rin Tohsaka is still the fucking best.
Yeah. So one of my favorite characters. So, honestly, the best love interest, if I'm being honest. But yeah.
I don't even 100% disagree. I do like what they do with Sakura and the dynamic here. I do think here's what I'm gonna say. I think when we were discussing it, I think you had the conversation. There is the best balance between Rin and Shiro as a pair.
Yeah, pretty much.
I agree. I feel like, regardless of if it's Saver or if it's Sakura, there is some power imbalance I feel Rin and Shiro are a little closer on the same playing field. But fuck, Rin's still awesome. You get to see, like, she's still a reliable ally through thick and thin. She's basically somebody who's, like, helping move the plot along and arguably is more capable and less suicidal than Shiro is in his day-to-day life. She's cool-headed, but she's also, like, got a really, really great design, always has been. And guess what? She gets the fucking infinite parallel universe rainbow blade? Like, I was watching that and I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, we're going to make Shiro go to this cave and we're going to basically scan the first meeting several years ago so you can trace the original Hax Blade. So now we have the bullshit Hax Rainbow Blade in what's a legitimately sick as shit fight sequence. Which, yeah, Melalie's always really strong. Like, I've always really adored, like, her work as Rin. She's still got it, and especially in, like, the final movie, oh, she gets some real good emotional shit. Because I believe it is that Rin is the only one that is allowed in to face off against Sakura. Because basically, she's the only one she's confident's gonna actually try and kill her. She knows Ryder's gonna hold back, she knows Shiro's gonna hold back. She actually thinks Rin is gonna go and try and kill her. So she takes the challenge. I adore what they do with their estranged sibling rivalry conflict, actually. And I kind of love, like, as fucked as it is, it's like, alright, in that last minute, it's like, after all that, I still love you and I still held back. It's like, fuck. That still got me good.
That's like, yeah, I thought that was a really good moment.
I thought that was really strong because, like, legit, I realized, like, okay, it is not just, like, at this point, we are no longer at, do Shiro and Sakura love each other? It's like, no, that's established. Now it's the conflict of the story, the Grail, the inner darkness of Sakura. And it's not just Shiro having to White Knight and save the day, it's... No, Rin is the one that basically breaks the shell first. Because by that point, Sakura's all power mad. She's all hungry. It's like, I've been weak and vulnerable. No one has ever helped me. No one has ever bothered to save me. Now I have the power to save myself. And you still won't acknowledge me, and you still won't look at me. Which there's a great scene with Rin going, I feel bad, but I also don't know what you've gone through. And I can't really say I get it. Sorry. And it's kind of like, oh, she's rage baiting her so she gets the opening. Holy shit. And it worked. And she almost got that opening, but that love of family was still there, so she couldn't quite pull the trigger even at the very end. It's like, damn. That genuinely did get me. I did kind of like, after all that, finally getting to see the estranged Sakura-Rin sibling thing finally come full circle. And I think Melalie's does an absolutely excellent job of getting, like, the tender sides, the fighting, the jealousy, and the being there even when you're hurt and raw and still coming back for more. I thought it was kind of beautiful.
Damn you, end of the day familial connections.
Yeah! fucking family shit. Fuck you, Vin Diesel.
Yeah, I like Melody in this. Like, she does a good tsundere, so yeah.
Oh no, like Mella's been playing her real good, and I'm still pretty impressed by her performance. Especially once we hit like the final confrontation with her and Sakura. I was really impressed with her performance there.
Yeah, I mean, Bella's been playing that character for years at this point, and definitely has a really good handle on her, and, yeah, I don't really, just good at getting across all the facets of her character, like, that's, I like a lot of the confidence, how, like, she tries really hard to always be the most level-headed person in the room, even when she's flustered about things, and that's it, like, in the way she kind of tries to have a very business-like attitude about everything and hiding her emotions, which again, definitely does make the whole bit with Sakura hit harder, where she does confess about how much she really cares about her and misses her, and I thought that whole scene was really sad. I thought that was a really good moment.
It still knows how to hit real hard. And with that, shall we get to our tragic pair of heroes and villains?
Let's do it.
Shiro Emiya and Sakura Matou. Shiro Emiya, the boy who wanted to be a hero of justice. Sakura Matou, the girl who wanted to be by his side. Bryce Papenbrook and Christina V are reprising their roles as Shiro and Sakura, respectively. Bryce Papenbrook has played characters such as Kirito in Sword Art Online, Masaomi Kida in Durarara, Rin Okumura in Blue Exorcist, and Inosuke Hashibira in Demon Slayer. Christina V. Valenzuela has played characters such as Vivi in Vivi Fluorite Eyes Song, Darkness in Konosuba, Killa Zoldyck in Hunter x Hunter, and Homura Akemi in Madoka Magica, just to name a few. By this point, the two of them are pretty much veterans of their craft. And they get to play our tragic duo for Heaven's Feel. I'm gonna say we start with Shiro Emiya for this discussion.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that seems reasonable, though I also kind of don't want to end this on a negative note, so your call, I guess.
Ooh, interesting. Alright. At the very least, I would like to start on something that made me very amused once I put two and two together. Guys, for a long time, I've had an image of what the Chunibyo is in anime, manga, pop culture for a long time. And one of the things I associate with, like, the trope of the Chunibyo kid is the guy who's going, "Oh, I have a cursed arm. It calls to me. It talks to me. I can't control its power." And usually when I see that, there's the guy who puts the arm in, like, red bandages, and he's just like, "Oh, my power! My cursed arm! It calls to me!" And it was a fucking light bulb moment when I realized, oh, that's a fucking Fate Stay Night reference. It's the fucking cursed arm that Shiro gets, and it's all wrapped up in the red bandages. And when he, like, tries to undo the bounds, it's like, oh, the power's surging through him. And it's like, oh my god. The fucking Chunies have loved Fate all this time. And I don't know if it's the originator. It would not shock me if him getting the arm in Heaven's Field is at least associated with that chuny middle school edgelord image because of that.
I mean, Fate does feel very Judy Bills, and it wouldn't shock me.
Oh, chuny feels like one of the OG, like, chuny pill things. So, like, I'm literally just kind of making that connection. It's kind of like watching Gunbuster for the first time and watching the Gynax pose and realizing this is where that shit came from. It's kind of like that, but for the fucking cursed arm chuny thing. That's what I realized. I was like, oh my god. So yeah. I just wanted to mention that. So Bryce Papenbrook is still really good as Shiro Emiya. And I think the interesting thing about Shiro Emiya in this particular route... How do I put this? I have to ask... Is he doing the opposite of Kiritsugu? Or is he doing Kiritsugu in Heaven's Field? That's what I want to open the floor and ask.
Honestly, it feels like little column A, little column B.
Because it's that little question of... Shiro in the past has been like, I must save everybody. I must do everything to save everybody, even if I have to kill myself to save everybody. But with Sakura, it's the contrast and the conflict of no matter what you do, no matter what you say, I will be on your side through thick and thin. I will be here. I will protect. You will always have a home with me.
Is it, yeah, I do think going from, like, vague hero of justice to, like, okay, I found the one person I really want to look after is, like, an interesting way to resolve Kirito's, I mean, oh, wow.
Wow! Wow!
You can tell it's late and I'm tired.
Oh, what a fucking Freudian slip right there. God damn.
But, yeah, it's simply an interesting way to frame, it's simply an interesting way to sort of come to some sort of resolution for Shiro's whole moral conflict. I don't necessarily think it's a great one as far as that goes. I think I don't know. I feel like there was a more interesting angle to resolve that than what we got here. But I mean,
do you think?
I don't know.
I guess my question is, do you think that's because the conflict of choosing to stay by somebody's side when that somebody at that side effectively morphs into the villain?
I mean,
is that what you have odds with, or is that just general other stuff?
It is definitely something that comes up. I think it is just kind of like a more. I think it is kind of going for a more general philosophical thing, but at the same time, I will say it is at least preferable to like Shiro and Archer looking at each other for 4 episodes straight. I'm still not over that.
Okay. See, at this point, like, in this story, ironically enough, Archer literally kind of, like, kills himself to save Shiro, which you're at least aware of, like, what their deal is by this point, which, even so, the fact that he gets, like, the one line in, like, the third movie, and it's, like, it's still got me, whereas, like, think you can keep up? Who the hell do you think you're talking to? Which, as an aside, am I crazy, or did the subscript of this one feel a little Gurren Lagann?
That one line specifically, not so much the rest of it.
Like, okay, there was also the grit, like, I think grit your teeth that came up at some point too, but I think the who the hell do you think you're talking to was like, man, that's so fucking Lagann, I love that shit. But, yeah, I do think what they do with this pair is complicated and interesting, I'm not going to say it's perfect. I'm not going to say it's perfect, or I think it's, like, not messy. I think, for better, for worse, a lot of what makes the identity of Heaven's Feel, and what I think's made it iconic for a lot of people, is the fact that it is very messy.
Yeah. So, in all honesty, I think this is the... Heaven's Feel is the route where... where's my thought process going with this one? It's the route where Shiro gets his... I'd probably say his happiest ending.
I'm not 100% sure that's right.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, going to main college with Rin didn't seem like a particularly terrible ending to me. I mean,
Doesn't seem terrible, but also, like, the happiest ending for him in Heaven's Field, he is technically in, like, a puppet body, I think. Like, I think that's what they implied, is that his soul was saved by Ilya. His body, which, to be fair, by that point, his body was effectively being corrupted inside out from blades. He was literally dying from edge.
you got that one.
Thank you. I really had to try for that. But yeah, like, his body is destroyed, but his soul is saved, and then, like, they transport that into kind of like a little homunculus puppet. So I guess Shiro is a real boy, but also a wooden boy, maybe?
Sure.
Fates.
Okay,
Fates.
well now that I remember the Unlimited Blade Works ending, maybe not quite so much the happiest ending, but...
He goes to... Look, what's better? Becoming a human homunculus? Going to London? Which is really that happy?
Okay, fair. You've got me there.
Look, on the one hand, you might be semi-human, but on the other hand, you're not eating British pub food.
On the one hand, you might be in a doll body, possibly screaming for pain for all eternity. On the other hand, mashed peas. I think
I take my chance.
I'm sure he could convince Rin to move back to Japan at some point.
I mean, I guess, but like... Actually, I just realized, actually...
Real fucking boy versus real fucking food.
Like, sure! I may, in fact, be wood. I may, in fact, be a human wooden boy homunculus. But, like... I can eat tonkatsu. I can eat fucking tonkatsu. I could, like... Yeah. This is... Okay, actually going somewhere with this again for a second.
Yeah.
Does that mean he has effectively become like Ilya at the end of Heaven's Field? Because I believe Ilya's body is technically kind of like a puppet homunculus herself.
Yes? Question mark?
So, if anything, he's now kind of more like his big sister. Huh.
In a way, probably.
Okay. Interesting thematic parallels there, but... Bryce Papenbrook, real good. Always been real good. And I'm going to start and say, before, Jet, you get to say what you want to say, can we at least agree on one thing here?
Go ahead.
Christina fucking V's really good.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
without a doubt.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like okay, yeah. Literally nothing negative I have to say is about Christina V's performance. It's really good. I think she does a really good job with the material, like all the various sides we see of Sakura, like like the childhood friend, all the trauma she has to deal with, like all the desperation for like some semblance of power in her life. I think Christina B handled all of that exceptionally well. Like, absolutely nothing bad to say about the performance.
Over the course of 3 movies, you basically go from like the sad childhood friends to wanting to be noticed as more than just family, to like being seen as a girl, to the struggles of trauma, the struggles of being weak, helpless, and then the trauma, the guilt, the anger, the frustration, like also the visible horror of basically being like kind of like a possessed horror icon thing. Like, her as the Avenger is genuinely real fucking scary, horrifying. I feel it's derogatory to say yandere-ish, but there's a little bit of that element there once she fully merges with like the lesser grail shadow creature thing. And like, you got a lot of different sides of Sakura Matou that Christina plays over the course of 3 movies. Plays all of them exceptionally well, to the point that, like, legit, the emotion, the fear, okay. I'll even embarrass myself for a second and say, yeah, she still sounds really fucking hot, too, when she wants to. The fucking, licking the finger scene, and even the tenderness of, like, actually, like, asking, are we like, do you see me as family, or do you see me as a girl? And it's like, okay, that's pretty good! And I do feel she does a real job with the intimacy as much as the trauma, which, believe me, Sakura Matou's got a lot of. Alright. Where do you want to go from here?
I don't know, would you rather I just get it out of the way, or...
I'm gonna say I want to hear your thought, because I can tell, I'm curious to know where you're gonna go with this.
Yeah, so like I said before, Chris, like, absolutely nothing bad to say about Christina V's performance. I think she does a really good job handling all the facets of Sakura we see throughout the story. Really backup job there. That said, I just honestly don't think the overall character of Sakura really worked for me. Listen, like, I think it just mostly comes down to, like, at least for me, like, and it feels like kind of a weird thing to say because like, it's not even like I necessarily thought, like, everything here was tasteless, but at least to me, it felt a little bit too much like mystery porn. It just felt too much like, yeah, I feel like just like everything Sakura goes through, like, just pretty much her entire story, it kind of feels like it's just like piling on like all this. It's just piling on like bad thing after bad thing, and after a certain point, it kind of feels a little exhausting. And again, like, to the story's credit, I don't think it handles all of that badly necessarily. Like it is at least willing to like kind of wrestle with the idea of all the sexual trauma she's been going through, and and I do think it does go in some interesting directions with that, but but I don't think it all necessarily works, and I think my main problem with it is that a lot of it just kind of feels less like it's in service of her character and more like it's in service of just kind of helping to fuel Shiro's character arc and where the trajectory of his character goes, and it's also part of why I don't think the romance there quite worked for me either. Like I didn't hate it. I do think there were definitely some interesting ideas there, but it just didn't really click for me.
That's fair. Like I said, I for the record, I'm not here to say you're wrong or I think you're, like, full of shit or anything. I genuinely was just like, I do think there is stuff I like here, but I think for you, it sounds like there's things you dislike more than like when it comes to their particular dynamic.
Yeah, and yeah, the like, okay, I don't remember the Saber stuff to say that too definitively. So, but I will at least say compared to like the Unlimited Blade Work stuff, I found the romance angle in this one a lot less interesting.
Okay. If nothing else, I will say I do at the very least think there is a very nuanced discussion about the case of somebody wanting to be loved, somebody wanting to be, like, held dear, but dealing with the trauma of, like, abuse and all that. I actually was talking to somebody, because remember, like, my visual novel guy, I was like, alright, what's the deal with the worms? And it's like, okay, don't give a shit about the worms. That doesn't matter. Thematically, it's more about a contrast of the character's desires for intimacy versus, like, the shame of the abuse and the trauma she has suffered. And I didn't want to assume, but are you familiar with what hypersexuality is?
Yes.
So, when I was watching this, I was thinking of the hypersexuality stuff as a concept and reading that for Sakura Matou, where it's like, it's the contrast of having those strong urges, desires, and feelings with the contrast of it coming from a place of traumatic situations, abuse, rape, various grooming, all that jazz. And how that's like a contradiction in and of itself. I think about that because I know that comes up a lot when I did not think I was going to talk about Denji Chainsaw Man in Fate tonight, but whenever a lot of people have really shitty takes about Denji being a pervert and being a horn dog, and it's like, yeah, man, he's been abused. He's been abused, and his feelings and thoughts about the concepts of, like, sex and sexuality are so skewed because of that trauma. That's legitimately why, like, to me, I read Sakura's deal, oh, it's not because of the fucking worms or whatever. No, it's because she is an abuse rape victim, and that comes from, like, that contrast for intimacy with that fear and disgust of that trauma. And that's what I read that, and I think that is a more interesting, nuanced discussion of the character than what the fuck are the worms. And it's like, I realized, oh, I don't care. That doesn't matter as much. I think that's less interesting if I know that. If that makes sense. It's a very nuanced conversation I'm having, and it's like, Fate's hard to talk about this, where it's like, I usually gotta go fuck all wild with this, but trying to approach this with a level of tact and respect for talking what is basically discussing a character who's dealing with trauma and sexual abuse, where I feel the story does better with it, not perfect with it, I'll say this, but I also am not coming at that from a place as somebody who has dealt with that abuse myself. So I'm also not an expert either. So you can tell while I'm kind of spiraling back and forth when it comes to discussing this. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It is a very difficult subject to tackle.
It's a very difficult subject to tackle, and I will say... No, you have nothing to apologize for. I'm just saying... It's something I do want to talk about, and I do... I'm not shying away from it because I think it's worth talking about. And I think it's worth reading into and discussing. And I do... From my understanding, there is a contrast where it does go a little more into Sakura and Shiro's POVs and stuff in the visual novel, because... Visual novel, you can do a lot more internal narration than you can do with the, with all that. I will say, it's nothing else, I did learn that there's some interesting changes to, like, their dynamic that doesn't get covered because you're dealing with three different movies, but I will say, if nothing else, I do like what they work in here. I do like what they manage with their relationship. And I at least will argue that I do feel the fact that these are movies and not television anime, I do feel this was the one to do as movies to actually go into the sexuality of Sakura Matou as a character, both the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, agreed.
Mm-hmm.
But more than anything, I am impressed at just how much of Sakura Matou's good, bad, and ugly sides Christina is absolutely able to come out of this character. Where I just thought she was kind of cute before, and she sounded real cute. She really gets to sink into her teeth in everything that is Sakura Matou, and my god, is it a fucking tour de force to bear witness, which...
And more than that, if you catch my meaning.
Fair enough. That being said, I also want to shout out the ending song to the second movie, where it's very hard to really understand emotions when you don't speak a language. And I gotta say, the entirety of the ending theme of movie 2 being what is basically like an emotional, contradictory mental breakdown of love and disgust and attachment and abandonment, all what's basically coming through like Sakura singing about her love for Shiro and her detest for herself and blah blah blah. It's like, wow, that's pretty powerful stuff.
Speaking of songs, if there's one other thing I can knock these movies for, which I guess is like the one other thing I was kind of glad Element and Blade Works did, we should have gotten at least one other cover of this illusion. Like, come on, it's like the literal main fate theme. Just throw us a bone, guys.
Fair enough. But, look, I'm a sucker for Yuki Kajiura stuff either way, and at the end of the day, man, there's some sick music that they pull out for this movie and some of these fights, and I think my biggest takeaway from going through Heaven's Feel and going through... I think I would agree that I think overall I like Shiro and Rin more as a couple, but I do also think there is something genuinely kind of nice and kind of fascinating to see Shiro staying with somebody who has dealt with that rage, that trauma, that abuse, and putting his own bullshit and ego aside and learning to care for somebody, warts and all. It's not just the beauty and the moe, it's the baggage. That is what romance and love is, as much accepting all that and learning to tell somebody you can't just give that up. Life is still worth living, even with all that, because you can still move forward. He's like, look, I will scold you, but you can atone by moving forward and accepting it. Like, I do think they kind of approach the concept of, like, death is not really atoning. Death is more of, like, getting out of it. Where I think Shiro's kind of pitching, like, atoning is to live with it and to be better and make amends by living with it. I'm not going to say that I think Heaven's Field is a perfect villain redemption story, but I think it's clear it's put a lot more thought into some of the complexities of the contradictions of living with the guilt and also living with the bad things you have done in spite of that and all that. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm rambling, boys. Oh my goodness. Okay.
Do you have anything, Patrick?
I am impressed with Christina V and more or less a lot of the more sensitive subject matter that the character of Sakura has to go through when, Christina V has to convey through her acting. Honestly, you guys said a lot of what I was gonna say, so it was a good performance.
Like, I'm also giving some context for that. For better or for worse, it feels weird to say better than I expected, giving product of the time, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because, like, it is 2025, and even with as messy and fucked up and sometimes gratuitous as some of the things that come up in Heaven's Field are, I feel there's still a lot more tack put into some of the things in this story than some of the other contemporaries to be inspired by it going forward.
Yeah, I can definitely give it that. It definitely handles its subject matter better than some later Isekai stuff you can name.
That being said, it legitimately would not surprise me if Heaven's Field is Gen Urobuchi's favorite route.
Though, and again, I don't really want to say this to be necessarily mean to the movies because I did think these were fine for the most part, but I think like I mentioned towards the beginning, it is one of those things where Heaven's Field was hyped up to me for such a long time, even back when Fate Zero first came out and people were singing that praises. I kept hearing when you talk about Heaven's Field is so much better. So I think I had I don't know necessarily what to say. I had really high expectations, but I guess I really expected this to blow my socks off to some extent, or at least easily be the best of the 3 Fate routes. And I thought this was interesting and definitely had some good ideas, but I'm gonna be honest. I don't think this beats Fate Zero for me.
Was it kind of a situation where you think the expectation of it kind of set you a little up for disappointment?
Yes, definitely, I've learned to temper my expectations with that sort of thing. SAO definitely taught me that. So I wouldn't say my expectations were ridiculously high, but I think I was expecting maybe slightly more than what I got out of it. I didn't have a bad time with this. It's just I expected this to at least easily be the best of the Fate Stay Night stuff, and I'm not quite so sure I would say that. I think it definitely has the most interesting stuff to talk about of the 3, but there is definitely some debate there.
That's fair.
Look, I'll say this with regards to Gen Urobuchi. Honestly, I think his favorite route is going to be the one where the white twink messes with people. Or the white-haired twink. It's UBW.
Maybe? Yeah. Maybe. Anyways, Words. Alright, I think we we're sort of in final thoughts right now, so I think let's probably just fully swerve into final thoughts.
Yeah, I think I more or less just said all I have to say. Like, I didn't have a super bad time with these movies I did. I will say, like, as movies, I do think the first two were, like, a little on the slow side, while the third one was, like, a vast improvement, but on the whole, I had, like, a decent time with these. I do think there were definitely, like, some interesting ideas here. I just don't think, like, all of them were necessarily as well executed as I would have liked. Like, I was mentioning this in our Discord chat the other day. I do feel like there's, like, some sort of happy medium between Unlimited Blade Works and Heaven's Feel, where there's, like, a really just, I guess, good golden version of Fate, if that makes sense.
That's probably the one that that's probably the one that they skipped over.
Probably.
Or maybe that's Hollow Ataraxia, which is apparently the sequel and might be a little more slice of life from what I've told. I don't know. There could be a happy medium that exists in later material or adaptations, or do you think we're going to get more Fate from Ufotable after we're done with Demon Slayer, or you think they're done with Fate now?
I mean, who knows? But hey, we are getting Fate Strange Fake finally, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
I'm excited for that, not necessarily because I think it's going to be the best Fate thing, but because I need to know what Ryogo Narita's Fate fan fiction in Las Vegas is like.
It's like I said before. Again, like the perspective Nasu for the world he created, but like. Again, I think he's more of an ideas guy, and I do kind of think Fate is more interesting to me when we kind of see what other writers can do with it.
Fair enough. I think, Patrick, what's your final thoughts?
So, I wouldn't quite go so far as to call these movies half-baked. They're definitely not all the way there. Frankly, I feel like this probably could have been pulled out into maybe like a 20-episode series. I understand why they did it as films, because, let's face it, the subject matter probably wouldn't have gotten past even the late-night TV censors.
Or, at the very least, I feel it would have compromised the actual material of the story they wanted to tell.
Yeah, I would have compromised it, and, there was the fact that this didn't come out too long after Limited Blade Works, so I guess they were probably trying not to repeat themselves so much.
Yeah. Although, like, it's not beginner-friendly. Like...
It is legit. This is hardcore Fate. That is why it is the last route of the original Fate.
Basically, if you are going into this anime only, Fate Zero, Unlimited Blade Works, and then this.
Yes.
Yeah, watch the mainline Fates in order. Like, if you're gonna do exclusively the anime route, just Zero, UB Dubs, Heaven's Feel.
Fuck, are we gonna have to do Dean Stay Night? I'm thinking about it right now, and it's like,
I mean, I would genuinely be interested in revisiting it. It has been a very long time.
It's like Brotherhood, where Heaven's Feel completely compresses a lot of what you need from what you see in UBW, to the point where you kind of have to at least watch the first half before you get into Heaven's Feel.
Man, I'm kind of talking myself into, like, actually just wanting to do Dean State Night finally, because I think now I gotta know.
Dub solid, though. Definite thumbs up there.
No, yeah. I think my big takeaway from this is I can see... Here's what I'm gonna say. I think I can see why this would be somebody's favorite Fate route. I think I can see why this would be somebody's favorite Fate material. There's a lot of big swings it takes. I don't think it lands every swing it it takes, but I also think I kind of respect a lot of the swings that it takes, and it doesn't take a swing just 'cause. Like, I don't think Sakura Matou, a victim of trauma and rape, is just 'cause it would be a thing. No, I genuinely do think they are trying to explore and dive into what that does to a person like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it does have something to say about a person dealing with that and how to move forward in life, dealing with that guilt and feeling that they are shitty or unclean or whatever the fuck. I think it's got a lot of big ideas, a lot of ambitious ideas. Not everyone lands, not everyone hits. But I respect the hell out of, like, the swings it takes. And I really enjoyed my time with this a lot more than I was expecting to.
Yeah.
I think that's why I walked away from this, I think, a little more appreciating this than I did to start. The problem with these movies is that, like, somebody asked what I thought of the movies. I think their biggest weakness is their biggest strength. The biggest compliment is that this is a really strong 3-act trilogy. The compromise there is I feel like the movies do not stand on their own because of that. Yet at the same time, I feel like Spring Song was as effective and strong for me because I watched Presage Flower and Lost Butterfly to really set the stage. But in turn, Presage Flower and Lost Butterfly do not feel as good on their own without the saga of Spring Song. So it's like watching these year by year, I feel like that would be a lot more unsatisfying than watching them back to back to back within the course of like a week or two for the sake of a podcast. So I'd say we probably experienced that in its optimal form. But I still really like these movies. I still really like this dub. I'm glad I got to experience this. I'm glad I got to finally watch it. This was an interesting one. This had a lot of cool things. It got to explore a lot of characters I didn't really get to appreciate or know their deals before. And it's got some pretty crazy, like, animation, fight direction, and honestly, overall, like, adaptation choice direction, too. Like, there's some striking shots and compositions, too, and look, I make fun of the kids for hype moments in Aura. There's some really fucking hype moments in fucking Heaven's Feel, man. Medusa versus Saber fucking rules. Fucking owns. Fucking, ugh. And yeah. Real good character stuff, real good. I had a real stronger time with this than I was expecting. I'm not sure if I'm going to say it's my favorite Fate thing, nor do I think it's like my favorite arc of Fate Stay Night. I don't feel like I have a good judge on the Fate route. It's been a bit since I've seen Unlimited Blade Works, but I enjoyed my time a lot more with this than I was expecting, and yeah, definitely. It ends really strong, and I think that's improved my opinion a lot of the trilogy. As an aside, alright, so Megan stepped off this one for personal reasons, given the material. I completely understand. Literally, just because we're at the very end. In the chat, she's like, is Andrew still going on about how much he wants to titty fuck Ryder? Please read this out loud. Yes! Yes, I want to titty fuck Ryder. But only in the turtleneck. Okay? Okay. Okay? Okay. Anyways, if you would like to contribute to me wanting to titty fuck anime characters, you can do so over by supporting our Patreon over at patreon.com/dubtalkpodcast, where if you would like, you can submit a contribute to our show and be like one of the beautiful people here who submitted this episode for a patron's choice, where every 3 months or so we do a patron's choice for our $10 tier patrons, where they submit an episode they want us to do, people vote for it, and the one that gets the most votes wins. So shout out to Shoulder, who requested this Unlimited Blade Works episode. But if you would like to get shouted out on the show, you can be a $5 tier like one of these beautiful people: Quinoa Soup, Marissa Lenti, Megan's mom and dad, and Michelle Travis. Or you could submit a future episode of your choosing, like the $10 tier patrons, like Shoulder, as mentioned before, alongside Anthony Browd, Carly Lestical, Julia W., and Pika Greg. You can also find us over on YouTube at Dub Talk Podcast. You can also find us in audio formats. Alongside us, that you can find us on Podbean, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. My name is Andrew, aka Classy Spartan. You can find me over on Blue Sky at classyspartan.bluesky.social. I also still have my Twitter, but at this point, the Twitter is mostly just for the occasional keeping up with news and sometimes a few porn artists that haven't moved over yet. Where can the beautiful people at home find you two gentlemen?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Jet Zero Infinity, where I'll usually just talking about anime, comics, news, just whatever's happening. You can also find me on Surreal Resolutions podcast, where they usually shooting a breeze about anime news alongside Andrew here. And you can also find me on my blog, Nerdy Biz, where I will sometimes write about Shonen Jump stuff if I feel like it. And, of course, you can also find me on Anime News Network. I'm usually doing weekly anime reviews. Currently covering Digimon Beat Break and Gensama, Mr. Genpachi's 80 Class. So, I guess check out those. It's a good time.
Good stuff. Patrick?
And you can find me, Roots of Justice, at Roots of Justice on the Blue Sky. Technically, my Twitter's still up, but don't try looking for it. I have it locked.
The Twitter accounts are kind of like... our actual Twitter accounts are kind of like our NSFW side accounts. You have it, but you don't want to tell people about it.
Yeah. It's basically there to keep anybody from stealing it.
Pretty much.
And if every single one of these episodes I do a Patrick's Cool Thing of the Day, where I talk about a cool thing. Today.
Alrighty.
Today, I wanted to put a little bit of a spotlight on a new animated comedy from Adult Swim. It is called Haha You Clowns.
Oh yeah, I've been seeing clips of that lately.
Like, it looks crudely drawn. It's from an artist I really like, and it is just positive masculinity in animated form.
We need some of that. We need more of that now more than ever, so that's good.
Sounds nice.
It's good. It's about 3 sons with a widower dad, and like they're connecting as a family.
Good stuff.
Like, it's goofy as all shit. It's like a stoner comedy, but it I can't describe it well enough to do it justice.
I know. I'll say from what I know of it through osmosis, that very much feels like your kind of vibes anyway. So I think I'm definitely gonna check that one out.
What's the title again?
It is called Haha You Clowns.
Okay, definitely keep that one in mind.
Alright. So, thank y'all for joining me today. We have managed to get through this Holy Grail War, and nobody has even gotten absorbed or turned into, like, an unholy grail monster thingy. So yeah,
Wait,
all in all, pretty good.
What's that? What?
Jesus Christ! All right.
Oh, Lancer, god damn it, not again.
Yeah, alright, this shit's gonna be rough to clean up. Alright, we're gonna have to clean up this mess. We're gonna get yelled at by the Mages Association.
It's everywhere. When did this happen?
Alright.
Oh, I'll get the mop.
Man, it's like somebody got Elfin Lead up in here. Christ.
And the squeegee.
Alright, good night, everybody. Otaku on, and let's be real. The Fate crew will return. The only matter is when and where.
Dun, 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 dun,
I'm saying, I'm just saying right now, the only way it'll be Fate Grand Order is if I specifically just get to just joke about the 2016 thing.
Anyways,
we'll
look.
bite the bullet on that one eventually.
We have options, but if you would like to tell us which Fate anime we should cover next, you can go over to our Patreon at patreon.com/dubtalkpodcast, where you can submit for $10 of an episode of your choosing. It could be Fate Stay Night, the Dean one. You can submit fucking Fate Grand Order Babylonia. You can submit Fate Strange Fate, at least once that's all done, which that might take a little while. Fuck! We might shut it down! You could submit Fate Khalid! We might all just protest and say no, but I mean, you could.
The worst we can say is no.
The worst the worst you can say is no.
Maybe joke a little.
No, the worst we're actually going to say is, ew, how fucking dare you? Why did you waste your money by submitting Fate Khalid, you fucking idiots? That's the worst we could say.
Yeah, fair.
Alright. Anyways, Fate Crew will return. We will definitely have Megan back with us for the next one, whatever it is, though. Good night, everybody. Otaku on.
Otaku on.
Otaku on the dubba.